In the recent Nintendo Direct we got just a few days ago, among several other news and reveals such as post-apocalyptic Kirby, goddamn kaiju battles in Bayonetta 3, and a whole new sleaziness level in the form of an expansion pack for a freaking online subscription model, a very excited Shigeru Miyamoto walked on stage to tell us which Hollywood actors will be voicing the all-star cast of Mario characters in the animated movie coming in holiday 2022. While everyone was freaking out about several of these choices, it probably passed largely unnoticed when they showed the outcasts, the less important characters. This is the first official confirmation that Kamek, freaking Cranky Kong, and Spike will all be featured in this movie. I guess the other two are pretty well known, they certainly made much more recent appearances in games, but you may be asking who the hell is Spike? So here we go, this is the very important Foreman Spike retrospective. After decades of making playing cards and toys, but before creating the NES and fast becoming one of the major video game producers in the world, Nintendo was all about making arcade games. They began that trajectory in 1973 with the very odd shooting game called Laser Clay Shooting System, where the player would use a very realistic looking rifle to shoot at moving targets in a projector. They kept going with several other shooters such as Wild Gunman and Skyhawk. It's actually really weird to think that Nintendo was almost all about making shooter games, but things started changing gradually as Nintendo shifted to other game genres like breakout clones such as Monkey Magic, Pac-Man clones like Head-On N, which is kind of a cool idea for a Pac-Man clone if you ask me. Soon enough, in the early 1980s, they would finally land on the platforming genre, and they quickly learned that it was a massive fertile ground to be explored by game developers at the time. That's when we got the original Donkey Kong series, and where Mario was born as Jumpman, and later Mario Bros, where the famous siblings would be given names and another job. But along with those famous games, there were several other platformers that remain widely unknown today. Among them was one called Versus Wrecking Crew. In this, two players would cooperate in destroying every single destructible object in each stage to move to the next one. Player 1 controls Mario and player 2 controls a very oddly colored pink Luigi. But notice that although the players cooperate to defeat the level and progress, they also compete for points. You see, each player is on a different plane in this game. Here, Mario is in the foreground and Luigi in the background. When both are facing the same object, the one that hits it first will cause the other to fall down because of the blow from the destruction of the object in front of them, right? It kinda makes sense. If you play it two players, there will be a split screen situation and the screens are mirrored because the views are opposite, facing each other, which is genius actually, because it makes it difficult to predict what the other player will do, even though you can always see his screen. Now, if you play this game in single player, the AI will simply take control of Luigi. So what about Spike? We are getting there, trust me. This game was later made available for the NES, simply called Wrecking Crew. It's one of those black box games for the NES, indicating that it was an early released game for the system and are usually seen as more arcade-styled games. If you play it two players, despite the levels being different from the arcade version of Wrecking Crew, both games play pretty much the same. But if you play it single player, you will notice that the AI will not take control of Luigi anymore. It will instead be Foreman Spike. They gave him a different sprite, a different color, and even made this small artwork of him in the manual. He's the one with the sunglasses getting violently hammered by Mario. So why, right? Why would they go through all the trouble of doing these changes if gameplay-wise the two versions are pretty much the same? That's because they wanted to make a rival to Mario. This was intentional. You see, Donkey Kong, and also Bowser for that matter, are villains. They do not abide by the same rules that apply to Mario. They're just there to antagonize. Foreman Spike, on the other hand, is competing with Mario, trying to impede his success, but playing by the same rules. Whatever Spike can do to Mario, Mario can also do back to Spike. They can cause each other to get trapped in fail states, and Spike will get pretty good at this in later levels. But touching Spike does not defeat Mario or vice versa, like it happens when you touch one of the enemies in this game. Spike is Mario's original rival, and he knows it. He returns in the sequel, Wrecking Crew 98. This is a Japan-only game that was recently fan-translated in 2017 actually, that came 14 years later. Foreman Spike is now sporting a very different look. He got rid of his beard and is now highlighting his pronounced chin dimple. He grew a very distinguished mustache, and now he wears a black construction helmet with a green cross or a plus sign. His nose now has this reddish hue, similar to Wario and Waluigi, which makes sense since the creator of Spike, game designer Hiroji Kiyotake, also went on to create Wario later. In Wrecking Crew 98, Mario is trying to impede Bowser in finishing the several buildings he's trying to raise, as they are killing the plant life in this land, which seems to me a very shallow reason to go around demolishing other people's enterprises. It gets even worse. The game reveals that Mario's real motive here is that one of these buildings is casting a shadow over his place, and he doesn't like that. The wildlife thing is just an excuse. Let's help Mario demolish Bowser's first attempt on doing something actually productive, right? What is wrong with the construction line of work? There is something very comically wrong about this. I love it. So anyway, Mario goes over to each building, defeats whichever Bowser goon is guarding it, and implodes the damn thing to the ground. In the second to last building right before Bowser's, Mario meets with his longtime rival, Foreman Spike, who greets him.
Yo, I waited so long. Remember me? Don't you dare say you don't. It's a me. Your original rival, back for vengeance. If you beat me under 2 minutes, I might tell you something interesting.
And then proceeds to spin his hammer madly. See, he knows he's the original rival. Here's what he says once you beat him.
Phew, it's been a while since I had so much fun. But the fun is not over yet.
If you actually beat him under 2 minutes, he finishes by telling the super secret base location, where you'll find secret character Oyazi. If you beat Oyazi along with all other secret characters, and then proceed to beat Bowser once more, you unlock the true ending, where it is revealed that the true mastermind behind the whole story here was not Bowser, but Foreman Spike himself. He convinces Bowser to do this whole operation, sure that Mario would try to stop them, and that way he would get to be his rival once again. How sad is that? He is hurt that he's been forgotten, so Bowser gets mad at Spike for saying that the plan would lead him to finally defeat Mario, and chases after him, trying to burn him to a crisp. Additionally to the story mode, Wrecking Crew 98 also features a tournament mode. In it, you can play as any of the characters you already beat in the game, so this marks the first time we were ever able to play as Spike in any game. But not the last one, but we'll get back to that later. If you complete tournament mode as Spike, you get a short but kinda cool cutscene where a bunch of toads parade in front of Peach's castle, a real faithful representation of the Mario 64 castle, as this game came out after the N64 release, which is probably the main reason why it never came out outside of Japan. Spike parades in a cool purple convertible as the words "Congratulations, you are the best wrecking crew in this tournament" appear, and a very nice higher def gold picture of Spike is shown. Check this picture out. Spike is turning his back, we can see his beautiful mustache curl around his face, his signature sunglasses, a ring on his finger, and we can also see that he has spiky ears, very similar to Wario and Waluigi, by the way. After Wrecking Crew 98, Foreman Spike made an appearance in another absolutely obscure Japan-only game called Mobile Golf, released in 2001 for the Game Boy Color, which, despite the name, is a Mario Golf title. He's now using a purple outfit, went back to the bushy beard look, and seems to be way bigger than he was in 1998. And if we consider the promotional artwork for the game, that's when we see exactly how big. By analyzing his evolution, it seems to me that he has been getting more and more buffed between each appearance, right? It's like he's preparing for something, you know? He now looks way more aggressive and angry, and considering the promotional artwork, it seems he's now working at this golf course, driving this bulldozer, picking up golf balls scattered around. After Mobile Golf, Spike went dormant for a really long time. There are a few small appearances or references to him. The most famous one probably being the yellow bulldozer that Waluigi can drive on Mario Kart DS, which is honestly a pretty cool vehicle for that game. Another pretty cool reference is Waluigi's theme song in Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, which is a rearranged version of a Wrecking Crew song where Foreman Spike makes his first appearance. Check it out. These two references interestingly involve Waluigi, which led to fans speculating that Waluigi is Spike's spiritual successor, or even going as far as saying that they are the same person, since soon after Waluigi was created, we stopped seeing Spike. But that doesn't seem to be the case. He also appears in one of WarioWare Gold's micro games, the Wrecking Crew one, sometimes finding the coin before you do, just like in the original game, as well as appearing in a recreation of the coin bonus stage, and also in the hardest Wrecking Crew bonus level in the NES Remix game for Wii U. He also pops up in the title screen of NES Remix. Anytime now. Oh, there he is. And finally, in Super Mario Maker, we can actually play as Spike in a platformer for the first time. He's just one of the 153 Mystery Mushroom costumes for Mario, but it's pretty cool to see the animations they made for him, including the swimming one, where he swims with just one hand and the other one keeps holding the hammer. And that's all we've seen or heard of Spike for 20 years. Until actor and comedian Sebastian Maniscalco did an interview where he leaked that he was recording his voiceover for the Mario movie and that he is voicing, and I quote, their boss Spike. So it seems that this movie will feature the early life of Mario Bros. Since Spike is gonna be their boss, we can probably expect them to be carpenters or construction workers like they were in Wrecking Crew, at least at some point in this movie, maybe in a flashback sequence or something, but who knows. In any case, I am truly excited about the return of Spike in such a big project for Nintendo, really. I always thought this guy has a lot of potential, and Nintendo has just been sleeping on it. Anyway, this has been Foreman Spike Retrospective. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe for more lesser known video game stuff real soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again.